Hey, Taco Tuesday fans, this is Christian Brindle.
And I am Glenn Shelton.
We came together and combined our forces to create something special for insurance agents called Taco Tuesday. Let's taco about insurance. My company, Christian Brindle Insurance Services,
and my company, Lead Heroes,
is here to bring you the latest and greatest news happening in the insurance industry today and eat some tacos while we do it.
If you enjoy the content that we put out on this podcast, feel free to leave us a review or subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes.
Without further ado, let's get into this episode of Taco Tuesday. We are live.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey.
Welcome everybody to another edition of Taco Tuesday. Let's talk about insurance. My name is Christian Brindle. He's Glenn Shelton. And today we have a very special guest here with us today. There we go. We have Miss Joanna Wyckoff, Joanna from the block, joining us here today. Joanna, thank you for your taking some time and jumping on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Friend of the show, repeat guest of the show. I guess famous insurance influencer would probably be another title we could add in. I mean, who doesn't know Joanna? Guys, we have so much to talk about today. Christian and I have been kind of going slow through AAP with the Taco Tuesdays because we've been very, very busy. AAP is now behind us officially as of last week. And I think that's really where I'd like to start today, you guys, is let's kind of wrap up AAP 2022. What happened? The good, bad, the ugly.
You want to start, Joanna?
Yeah. So I think we all had seen the swing of the pendulum as like from 2020 was everybody was doing business over the phone because of COVID and everything. And then all of Glenn Shelton's call centers were calling everybody.
And the agents. Every agent.
And the agents
Glenn, tell your people to stop calling me.
Yeah, guys, we don't call insurance agents. I don't know how else to really say that, but if you're getting them, oh my gosh.
But when I was doing my events at the senior centers and out in town and everything, they were always just exasperated showing me their phones of 50, 60, 70 missed calls a day. And they were just like, I'm just not answering my phone anymore unless it's in my phone. And I was like, I don't blame you.
Yep.
And so I think the grassroots efforts are making a swing back because Joe Namath took it too far, you know. I think all the Joe Namath commercials, I mean, they were always fine, but the commercials were fine for us because it told people, you know, what it was. They weren't not familiar with it. But the call centers, the illegal calling for WellCare, there's no way you call from WellCare and say you were calling from a med sup because WellCare doesn't have any med sups, you know?
Right.
But it kind of hurts the agents that like us who go by the book, you know. My call center, we don't buy third party calls for med sups and flip it to Med Advantage, you know. We do completely different marketing, and I mean, I wasn't worried about my clients. Most of my clients don't want to talk to people on the phone anyway. But just the annoyance factor of it, you know, we became the slimy insurance agents all over again, right?
Yeah, so true. And yeah, just to touch on this really fast, you guys, and we were kind of joking about this earlier, but there was a thread in Six Figure Medicare Agent here in the group where someone had purchased leads from Lead Heroes, and they were under the assumption that we were calling them about Medicare because they were receiving phone calls about Medicare right before AEP or like right at the start of AEP. And that's why we're kind of joking about it, because it's like we don't call insurance agents to try to see if they're interested in something Medicare. Like, obviously we're going to be calling seniors. Like, we're focused on 65 plus. Potentially, if you're a 65 or older insurance agent, there is a potential overlap there, but these were people well under 65. But to get to Joanna's point, I think what everyone saw, that I was hearing from several different people, clients that we work with, other lead vendors, agents that are making phone calls, agency owners, historic numbers of phone calls went out this AAP. Illegal phone calls, robocalls, legitimate calls to existing clients, calls to leads. It didn't really matter where the call was coming from or why it was going out, but there was a huge increase. And I think what happened is the pandemic, we were already kind of on this slope up, but I think the pandemic just gassed the fire, just gassed straight on that fire. And it was like this explosion of phone calls. Everyone was making more calls to try to offset the number of calls that they were not being able to normally have. So it just kind of ramped the problem even more. Direct mail was down. I think a lot of face-to-face was down because of the pandemic. So it's like, I was hearing it from all sides. It was like, I'm not getting the traction I'm normally getting. I'm not getting the traction I'm normally getting. And it did seem like grassroots, face-to-face, branding, local market, it seemed like those were the people winning this AEP.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's business, right? Business has trends, and business has, ooh, look at that.
No, I'm hungry.
See, I didn't bring tacos, so I'm the enemy of the taco army. The taco ice.
Guys, let's all give Christian some hate. I know I don't have tacos half the time, but today let's take a minute. Let's give him some hate in the comments, guys. Tell him what's up.
You guys will forgive me, but but no, I think it's just kind of a rule of thumb in business, right? Pendulums swing from one end to the other, right? So last AEP we had not really the carriers or anything like that, but you probably had a lot of organizations, a lot of agencies, especially smaller agents that were probably playing retreat, right? They're playing the backup game, that they're playing the defense game. And I posted this in the Facebook group yesterday, defense wins championships, but only in sports, not in business. And now with essentially things kind of coming back into the forefront, we probably saw a lot of people, organizations, companies, marketing companies, lead vendors, whatever the case might be, trying to make up for lost time. And it created an influx of marketing all around. And it diluted everybody's returns, whether it be direct mail returns. If you're used to getting 1.5% response rate on your direct mail or 2%, you might have only gotten 1% or 0.5% or something along those lines. If you're used to getting a certain amount of leads through telemarketing leads, well, pickup rates may have not been as high as Glenn, mentioned, record set of phone calls being made.
Definitely.
Facebook ads, there's more Facebook ads being ran than ever. It just dilutes things. And so I think my 2 cents on it, and I'd love to get both of your opinions on it, is I think it's going to be more and more important than ever going forward that you get much more creative with your advertising. I don't think that the cookie cutter kind of marketing advertising is going to be as effective as it was in the past. I've been a believer of that for a while now. But I think to really, get the best kind of business you can get going forward in 2022, in my opinion, is the type of marketing and advertising that gets people to call you, right? That brings people to you to where they're pursuing you and you're not pursuing them.
100%. I created two brand new businesses in October in the middle of AEP to bring me more marketing like that, more intentional marketing. It's a lot of work. I mean, I spend over 20 hours a week just on that, and I'm teaching a select few of my agents that signed an NDA the process. But it's needed. It's you have to think outside the box. Like our direct mail was in the toilet since before the election. And it just you got to do things differently. Branding and everything, and having people call you is definitely the way to go. So that's what everybody's been, saying that. And if you're not willing to change, you're going to suffer.
So Joanna and I, I don't know if you even remember this, Joanna, because you're so famous, and I'm just a little peon over here. I'm like, I'm like Schmeagol from Lord of the Rings. I'm just like, eh. But we did
far better looking than Schmeagol.
See, as long as that's my bar, I think I can clear Schmeagol most days.
Schmeagol? Okay.
Anyways, we did an interview together. I think it was like right after the pandemic started. It was just me and you.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't let Christian get involved yet, but you had a specific quote in there that I loved. And I think I even turned into a quote card, but it was talking about how if you don't have a plan B or a plan C, D, or E, like you're done, you're screwed. And it was like this AEP, I felt like that was really like the difference between the agents who had success and the ones who fell flat. And the crazy part, I think this AEP is we were seeing people who have been massively successful in previous AEPs fall below their goals. I mean, I was telling Christian before we went live today, there's a call center that I work with. They probably did about 20% less business than they did the year before, even though they were actually staffed higher this year with their agent count. So, I saw a lot of agents and agency owners where it was like, okay, we invested $100,000 into direct mail. Direct mail came back flat. Our AAP went with it. And rinse and repeat that. It could have been Facebook ads, could have been telemarket. It could have been, whatever marketing channels they were utilizing. But the people who had these different plans in place, or they diversified, and then maybe they found one channel was responding better for them. Seems like those were the people who still won, who had a good AEP. Christian, I think you did a pretty good job of diversifying just from kind of what we talked about. So really, guys, that's something that I would highly recommend moving forward. Just diversify, chase what works for you, chase what you are getting a response in. I do love the local branding. I think there's a lot of value in local networking right now, especially with the pandemic. That's kind of turned into this slow burn. And I think seniors have been still affected quite a bit by this. I think there's still a lot of concern for their health. Again, it's kind of region based, but yeah, I just wanted to share that quote that you had from before, Joanna. I thought that was awesome.
I think it's our friend Justin Brock, or maybe it was his dad, or maybe it was Christian's dad. A little bit of everything works, right? Whose dad was it, Christian?
It was Justin's, I think. It wasn't mine.
Okay.
It was my daddy.
My daddy was the opposite. My daddy was don't do anything different.
But we did direct mail, we did Facebook ads. I am the queen of grassroots here in Georgia. And we had retail stores. Strangely enough, some of the retail stores were reporting back like deads, like people didn't want to approach the desk or anything, stranger danger. So it was a little bit of a weird swing, but I've had a lot of success with other professionals introducing me as their trusted specialist,
Girls.
Yeah. So I would do a little bit of everything. And also a lot of agents we noticed didn't call their leads more than once. That
it's been going on for
I'm turning my dream on. I'm gonna get triggered.
I have a couple agents who are crazy enough to door knock. I'm not the door knocking girl. I won't speak on it, but I had agents, they got 160 leads and they closed 60 apps out of 160, which I thought was phenomenal because they went and knocked on the door. and they, apparently they were handsome enough to get in and everything. But I mean, if you want to work your leads like that, do what others are not willing to do. Here in Georgia, it's a little risky for me to do that. I don't like guns getting pulled on me and stuff. But certain areas you can door knock, right? So do what the other agents aren't willing to do.
Do you have the numbers on the one-time call thing? Like how many leads were only one-time called?
Door knocking is not illegal for Medicare Advantage. If you have an opt-in lead, that's a permission to contact.
Boom.
You're not cold knocking a door. You have a permission to contact. So I don't know if I have any leads over here. So if I have
Compliance police is here.
If I have all these signed leads, this is a permission to contact, and I can certainly door knock them and say, "Hey, James, you filled out this lead and you haven't been answering your phone. I'm just trying to get you the information you requested. How can I help you?" People need our help. They're not answering the phone because they're afraid of giving their information to somebody in Pakistan or the Philippines, and they're worried it's a scam. They're not being told the complete truth, right? So
some bad apples out there. I think that's a great point. I'm a huge fan of face-to-face, especially when it comes to not getting people on the phone. I used to do that as an agent myself. If I couldn't get someone on the phone, then that lead wasn't thrown away. It was I literally had a file for leads that I needed to door knock.
Mm-hmm.
And then anytime I was in an area for an appointment, there's Matthew Murray. I don't even need to see his name.
It doesn't show his name, but I know it's Matthew Murray.
That was
who else, right?
Like the dad, yes. But yeah, door knocking, I think from an efficiency standpoint, when you're trying to get a hold of leads, especially if you're trying to squeeze the juice as much as possible in a local area, I think door knocking has to be a part of your repertoire. That was a hard one for me, you guys. It's still early for me.
Final expense agents do it the best. I mean,
yeah, they do.
Final expense agents, yeah.
I think my process when I've worked leads in the past has always been very simple. I don't even follow my own rules anymore, guys, because I just don't really have the time anymore. Yeah. But my rule of thumb with leads, when I'm selling, is very simple. I think you should call the lead at least 5 times. At least 5 times. After the third call, if you can't get them on the phone, send them a text. If that doesn't work, send them an email. You can automate this, right? If you have a CRM, a lot of CRMs will automate that for you. Go high level. Right. You get an Eric's Go high level. It'll automate that for you. If it was just me personally, I wouldn't go to someone's door unless I've tried all of those things first.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just talking to an agent yesterday about that, and they were like, I got X amount of age leads. And, age leads are a different story, right? So we're not talking compliance or anything like that. This was for life insurance, not Medicare. So your compliance police don't have to crucify me, right? The cross is there, but you don't need to nail me to it yet. But anyway, but essentially, she was like, I've called about a third of them so far. I've got a lot of people not answering the phone, that kind of thing. I'm like, well, I'm like, you got to understand, age leads is a step above cold calling. It's just a smidge above cold calling. I was like, even still, she wanted to know if she should go door knocking them. I'm like, I would always call them all the way through at least once before I door knock. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm driving to a house or if I'm driving to a neighborhood, let's say it takes me 20 minutes to get there. Let's say the whole thing takes me an hour and a half to get there and back. I could make 60 to 80 phone calls in that time period.
Right. You only want a cold call when you're in the neighborhood, like, if you have a lead and you're down the street running an appointment anyway. You don't want
it's an efficiency thing.
One house for one door.
Right. Yeah. That's craziness. But yeah, I mean, I think, getting back to what you guys were talking about, though, you need to try a multitude of different ways to getting a hold of your leads, because calling them one time is just not going to cut it. It never did cut it. But even now, I mean, nowadays, it especially won't cut it.
Right. We have a question here. they're wanting to buy a CRM, would you have recommendations on?
I would get one of those nice trapper keepers and just anything you can stuff in there, you guys, just
Trapper keeper.
That was my original CRM.
That was the 1999 version.
That's right. That was the
CRM.
OG, you guys.
So we use Go High Level, and we actually use Done For You CRM by Eric Fierro because he has support. He actually is going to Zoom me tonight to show me how to use my CRM for 3 other businesses that I own. So, I mean, I don't know anybody who does that type of support for free. And I pay him $97 a month, the same as I would if I was correct.
Eric is amazing. Like I want to reiterate that. Like Eric is fantastic. Eric essentially has built a ready for you system, right? Like if anybody that's ever, gotten into Go High Level, it's a huge task to build it out, to get it to function the way that you'd want it to. Eric's done all the work for you, so that's great. So that's always makes it a lot easier for you. And Go High Level's the master system when it comes to automations and things like that. We use Agency Block for our CRM. We like it. It's not perfect. No CRM is. I think it depends on kind of what you're wanting. The reason why we like Agency Block is because it keeps track of our agent information. Right. So,
I use Agency Block for agents, and we use Go High Level for clients. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is it really depends on your situation. Are you an independent agent? Do you have a downline? Are you trying to track commissions through the CRM, or is it purely client facing? Is this clients that you got an issued application on, like they're your book of business clients, or is this more of like a marketing CRM where you're funneling your leads and you're trying to qualify people? Maybe you're doing drip marketing campaigns. So it's like there's definitely not a one size fits all. I do, again, I would say second and third to Eric Fierro and his CRM system. I work with a lot of agents who utilize that system. I think on the marketing side, he has a bunch of great stuff to help agents. But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily the right CRM for you. Some others I'll throw out there too. Radius Bob, that was built specifically for insurance agents. There's a lot of different features in Radius Bob. You don't have to utilize all those features. It's very cost effective. For a very small amount per month, you can utilize their system. Then you've got Agency Cubed, Agency Block. You've got some traditional CRMs like Zoho, Salesforce, Pipeline. I mean, there's so many. It's like every time I wake up in the morning, it's like there's a new CRM system I'm hearing about. So it's like there's constantly updates and newer CRMs. Just find one that you're going to use, though.
Right.
That's the one thing. I can't tell you how many CRM systems go unused. I would love to know the stats behind that. Like if we got a CRM owner, maybe Eric could even tell us, right? I bet Eric could be like, oh yeah, half of our users don't log in more than once a month. It's like, oh, interesting. Like just like Joanna was saying, you guys don't call your leads, which, I don't know. I've said that like every episode of Taco Tuesday for the past 2 years now. You guys don't call your leads. And I don't know why. I don't get it.
It's a mystery, isn't it? Like,
don't get it. And then they like to throw flack at people like me who are generating the leads, right? Called every lead once, closed one deal. The leads were horrible. I only got 5% of people on the phone. Whatever it is, but it's like you have to do whatever you can to get the response. It's literally the difference between succeeding as an agent and failing as an agent. Mm-hmm. What is your contact rate with the leads? 5%, 10%. If you're an absolute boss and you're doing these things that we talked about, you're reaching out 5 to 10 times, maybe you have some drip follow-up you're doing, you're texting, you're emailing, you're door knocking, you can get that response rate up to 80, 85%. It's definitely feasible. If you're calling everybody once, you're probably only going to talk to a quarter of your leads. Mm-hmm. And so think about that. Like with the marketing money that you spend, would you rather talk to 1 out of 4 or 3 out of 4? What agent's going to be more successful? The agent that presents to 3 out of 4 people or the agent that presents to 1 out of 4 people? What do you guys think? Like,
my money will go on the 3 out of 4.
Even if they're a horrible agent, even if they don't know what they're doing, the agent who's presenting to 3 out of 4 people wins every single time. It's the law of large numbers. It's the law of attrition, you guys. It's literally that simple. 8% nation. You want to leave 92% and get into 8%. Just get that contact rate 75% or higher.
So someone told me something interesting. Somebody that probably would know the other day. And I don't know if this is true or not. If any of you guys are just, CRM geeks that are watching, let me know if you've heard this as well, or if it's completely off. I heard someone tell me recently though that Radius Bob is built on Go High Level.
I've never heard that.
It does look strangely similar.
Oh no, we lost Joanna. No.
Hopefully she comes back.
Yeah, hopefully she'll join us.
But I mean, if you look at the systems and kind of the layout of it, it looks strangely similar to it.
Yeah,
and it was almost like Twilight Zone-ish when they told me that. I was like,
"You're like, oh no, what else? What else don't I know?"
Wait, are you telling me every CRM is built on Go High Level?
Check your email provider. That was built on Go High Level. It's all Go High. I think that's part of what we're seeing though, is there is a ton of people marketing CRMs. I know offhand probably 4 different CRMs that are being marketed, but they are all literally just Go High Level with a skin on them.
Yeah.
And I guess for me personally, I feel like it's slightly misrepresenting. Like I feel like Eric Sales University, Eric over there, Fierro, I feel like he's very transparent about that. He always explains up front. Eric's like, hey, this system's on Go High Level. Like this is built on Go High Level. She's back.
She returns.
Sorry, technical difficulties. I got kicked out. My internet crashed. So
dang internet. That's that Georgia internet.
That Georgia internet.
But guess what? It's better than the internet on the cruise I'm about to be on next week.
Oh,
congratulations. So remind us where you're going. Remind the audience where you're going.
So it's an 8-day cruise. We're going to Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And I haven't been to either 3 of those islands, so it's going to be new scenery for me. Mm-hmm.
Nice. That'll be fun.
8 days. Nobody asking me how to do Part B. I'm excited.
Well, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
It's gonna be awesome.
I was this close to going on this cruise with Joanna, by the way, for those of you who don't know. But I have a child who's I don't know what I'd do with her. I can't just throw her overboard. We got to find a place for her.
Yeah.
Get her a floaty. Get her a floaty, dude.
Drag her behind the gym.
Yes, tie a rope. See, you already went there. See,
problem solving.
Maybe next year when she's a little bit more accommodating.
A little bit bigger. Yeah.
Bill Green and family is cruising with us, so that's exciting.
Joanna, I wanted to bring up a topic that we talked about. I want to make sure we don't run out of time on it because I do think it was important. And that's about why do you feel? Because you get the same phone calls, DMs, emails that I do, right, throughout AEP of agents that
I know where this
are
is going.
trying to do things that they should have done months ago, but they're trying to do it on October 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, just the worst time of the year to try to do those things like doing their certifications, right? Doing their AHIP, whatever it might be. Why does that happen so often? Where does that come from?
I was thinking about this myself. I mean, I think some people are just procrastinators, or some people think that they know it or that they won't need it, all right? Like I used to think that I wouldn't need final expense underwriting, and then somebody asks you a question, then you suddenly want to write final expense, even though you're not a final expense agent, right? I think a lot of people don't realize, and I didn't realize this back in 2017. Remember, I didn't come from the industry. Like, I didn't have a Bob Brindle that I saw how hard he was working. When I first got into Medicare, it was sold to me that I had to do AHIP and carrier certifications, and then I would be good to go. Well, we know that barely scratches the surface, right? AHIP doesn't teach you how to do the business, and the carrier certifications barely teach you how to use their own platform, right? So I think it's a for the new agents, I think it's for a lack of setting the expectations by whoever brought them into the industry. I think that the expectations should be set and say, Joanna, you're going to spend 60 hours between July and August doing your first looks, your training and everything. And then you're still going to have questions on how to do stuff. And here's where we store that. And, you have your own university and stuff. And I built Nation Care semi-university before last year. I think I built it like 2 years ago, and I'm reshooting new content to add to that. But I think a lot of people just think that they'll cross that bridge when they get to it. Grey's Anatomy's on, right?
Grey's Anatomy.
And then also, a lot of people give flack to part-time agents. I started as a part-time agent, so I understand. I worked full-time at Social Security. I would come home and do all my certifications. I would do, Aetna one night and Anthem one night and Humana another night, right? But you have to actually commit to the business. I mean, a lot of times people tell me they're part-time, and they're actually not anytime. They're maybe a time, So if you're not actually...
there's also full-time agents who are also not anytime, by the way. That goes beyond part-time. I love that analogy. Yes.
But if you're not actually where's my planner? So if you don't actually have, I'll pick a next year, but if you actually have a planner that looks like this and nothing's on it, then you're not working on your business like you tell people you are. I think a lot of agents say that they're working on their business, and they're maybe working on Canva business cards or Vistaprint or something and building a website, but they're not actually learning their business, And so, I don't want to go to an accountant that first worked on his website and didn't work on how to do my taxes, right? So I think it's about seriousness. When I finally got serious with Medicare, it was summer 2018 when I was fighting for my releases, and I had just met Joe, and I had a glimpse that it was possible. I just was with the wrong people, But I mean, I think some people, they don't have a schedule, and then they get overwhelmed because it sounds like I showed you my checklist for today, right? And I have all these people's names on a sheet of paper that I have to get through today before I'll let myself go shop. And people who are brand new would get overwhelmed with that list, right? Because it seems like so much to do. But if they just put it on a schedule, 30-minute increments, you'll be done in a couple hours, right? And I think, taking, we talk about this a lot in like weight loss. So like I'm trying to lose weight, right? Because I gained a lot of weight. And if let's say we want to lose 50 pounds. Well, 50 pounds seems like a lot all at once, right? But if I just focus on the first 3 pounds and then next week focus on the next 3 pounds, right? It's a lot easier to manage. And pretty soon I'm 50 pounds lighter by just focusing on the next step ahead of me. So I think agents get overwhelmed with, everything, all the content that is out there in the universe. And, everybody's trying to be like my friend Justin Brock and all these superstars. Dude, you have to learn part B first. You have to learn how to do an application. You have to read your applications, You should not be reading applications for the first time. You know, but and I'm sure Justin will agree with that. You know, he didn't become the rock star that he is by putting it off and not doing the work. And same with you and any other rock stars. You know, you sat down and you didn't ask, hey, how does Aetna view diabetes? You read the Aetna application that told you how that they felt about diabetes, right?
I'm here to sell insurance, not to read. I'm not here to read. Really fast though. I saw this Instagram like motivational video. Like I have a bunch of like things I'm subscribed to, like motivational entrepreneur things, and there's something that Joanna just said that like triggered this memory for me of one that I just watched recently, and it was talking about people who go from being an employee and they jump directly into being an entrepreneur or business owner, and how they have this mindset that they need to replicate their place of employment before they even generate a client or they're generating revenue. And so they'll go from starting their business to they're thinking about, you know, kind of already touched on it, right? Like they're designing their logo, they're designing their website, they're leasing an office, they're buying office, and then all of a sudden they've accrued all this debt. They don't have, you know, any clients. They have no cash flow, no revenue coming in. And that's absolutely kind of the backwards way of doing it. I mean, you really have to work first before you spend the money and invest and spend time on all this other stuff.
I think.
Oh, go ahead, Christian.
I'm sorry, Joanna. I didn't mean to cut you off. I think that's a great point. You know, like for my first 5, maybe 6 years of selling insurance, nobody knew who I was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody knew Christian Brindle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't start using e-apps until like 4 years ago. You know, like I was just
when they started coming about.
Yeah.
Mutual was around, and there were some that were around, but like, I mean, like I didn't, you know, I did everything on paper until about 4 years ago. You know, I went to every single home appointment until about 4 years ago, every single house. Like that, people don't see the behind the scenes stuff. You know, they don't see the years of falling on your face and learning and going through experiences and making sales and, you know, putting in that effort and grit and hard work and grind.
Yep.
They just see more so like what the product is today, like what the finished product is today. And like, you know, I always tell people, like, you know, I didn't just start in the business the way I am today. Like, you know, if people see me post pictures of me when I started in the business, I look like I'm 16. Like you look at it, you're like, man, that was a long time ago. You know, there's a lot that's happened since from then until now. And you got to take your lumps. You got to go through that too. You know, you can't cheat the process. You got to go through it too.
Well, I would say one way to cheat the process, though, that's actually legitimate, Christian, is you can have a shorter learning curve than you and me by attaching to somebody like you or me, right? So you don't have to go through 100%. What I went through in 2018, trying to figure out how to get a freaking release. If you partner with a decent upline who helps you go through that, you know, and there's plenty of good ones out there. There's plenty of shitty ones out there too. But, you know, partnering with a good mentor should be cutting your learning curve. Now, I will say this. I have plenty of agents who didn't show up to any of my trainings all year long. And you know, sometimes we used to blame the upline. And now as the upline, I'm like, I have agents who ask me questions on 12/7 and they ghosted they never showed up. We have 3 trainings a week, 3 live trainings a week, never showed up. And so I think a lot of it is the quality of agent. Some people should not be in the insurance business, you know, and I'm not afraid to say that anymore. This is not a hobby career. You want a hobby? Go sell some real estate, right?
Everyone should be an agent. Everyone keep their license active. Don't listen to her. If you're horrible at selling insurance, just keep doing it. Oh my God. Please get her off. Get her out of here, please, Christian. Boot her.
Or maybe call America, right? But I think that if you are only selling a policy a month or whatever it is, you're never going to pick up momentum or retain the knowledge. And somebody said that to me, and they offended me when I was part-time. But he was like, why should I spend my time teaching you when you're not going to remember it? Now, he didn't know that I remember everything like an encyclopedia, right? But for the most generic part-time agent, that's true, because if I teach you something in January and you don't utilize it until December 7th, you're going to ask me the same question over again, right?
Yep.
And we're going to be like, oh my God, Christian, they don't pay attention to my training, so I would become a master of your craft, and I preach it all the time. I did not become the encyclopedia of Social Security by just reading the policies once. Practice makes perfect, right, Christian? How do you know how to do an application or what the questions are on the application? You read it a million times, right? You know you're underwriting because you read that question a million times. You don't read the question on December 7th going, I'm trying to figure out who's going to take this diabetic on this med sup, right? So this isn't real estate. This isn't, selling on eBay or driving for Uber. It's not something you could just pick up and put back down. You can really screw somebody up if you don't know your craft and what you're doing.
100%. And I do want to say, like, I wish everyone would take that mindset, like you said, especially when taking it, because there's the problem, the key problem, and we've talked about this specifically, the three of us have talked about this before on the show, but the big problem is the MLM opportunities in the insurance world, where the person who's bringing new people in, they don't even know how to sell insurance, and they're bringing insurance agents in. And these people flounder. I mean, the failure rate has to be astronomical.
In an MLM.
Yeah, me too.
2016 to 2018.
Yeah.
And we had to meet quotas on the hiring people. I ended up hiring my sister because I had a quota to meet. and my little sister, she's a licensed Medicare agent now. I mean, she'll write a couple apps a year,
Yeah.
But that MLM is not. They're not doing anybody a service.
Correct.
They're actually making the agent their consumer because they're selling. I heard one MLM is charging a monthly fee, and then other ones that we know Primerica makes you buy all their own brochures and stuff. So if you have to pay to play, paying your agency or something, you're the consumer. If you have to buy their leads, you're their consumer. They might not care if you ever call those leads or sell those leads. You bought their leads, you're their consumer.
Yeah, I would love to take a minute and talk about Banker's Life while we are on this topic, because I have this one. So there's this, Christian just made this post about Bankers. Yeah, Christian just made this post about Banker's Life. I guess if we back this up even further, I had a family member who worked for Bankers. I know Bankers very well. I've worked with Bankers Life agents. I know my local Bankers Life office. I'm kind of familiar with how the structure of the company works. I know how the marketing works. There's this one agent in particular that for some reason responds to every piece of marketing that happens at Lead Heroes. And he throws a fit about the prices, even when I'm talking about like a fixed cost lead where they only have to spend like $300-400 up front at once. And I'm like, that's a cost of one mail drop. I'm like, what are you saying? You can't afford this. I'm like, stop talking to me. If you can't afford this, like, then don't spend money on marketing. Go do whatever. Like, but I feel like Banker's Life could potentially kind of fit into this model we're talking about, like bringing agents in, not caring, not training them. It's almost this like, let's just throw people at the wall and kind of see what sticks. And it really ruins it for everyone.
So I've never worked for Banker's Life. I have received a couple agents from there. One of our top agents came from Banker's Life. So I don't know if they train everybody or don't train anybody.
Joanna, I need you to rescue all of them. Okay. You need to go on a mission.
Bill Green, you hear that? We got to go rescue people. Bill Green.
They're essentially like a big meat grinder is what they are.
Okay.
They are so like I'll give him credit on this. Chris Westfall, he has a really great video on his YouTube channel that essentially is a news story that breaks down a reporter that infiltrated one of their offices as a recruit.
Ooh.
Undercover, and they have like secret cameras and everything like that. I mean, they're and now
what?
It's worth watching. It's very entertaining if you haven't seen it. It's on Chris Westfall's YouTube channel.
Okay.
But
Hot
it's
plug.
it's incredibly like telling in terms of how they train people, right? Like it's kind of shocking, very unethical. When I lived in Florida, Bankers was a very big presence. They're not really a big presence. They seem to be everywhere, but they never seem to sell anything because they were trying to sell MedSup to a Medicare Advantage market, right? But they would door knock markets. They door knock people turning 65, and they would tell people things like, "We're the only Medicare supplement that doesn't go up in price." I heard probably over 30 to 40 people tell me that this is what they were told by the salesperson. We're the only Medicare supplement that doesn't raise our rates. So people buy into it. They pay $40 a month more than another Medicare supplement carrier would be, but they're doing it with the expectation that the rates don't go up. Then, of course, a year goes by, the rates go up 7, 8, 9%. And then they call Bankers, upset about it. And Bankers says, well, that agent doesn't work for us anymore. They throw their hands up in the air. They're like, we don't take any responsibility for what that agent said. It's just such a meat grinder organization. It's
so that's not an E&O complaint, or people just don't file E&O because they say that the person's out of business?
I don't know. I mean, I think that they wash their hands of it because they don't take responsibility for the agent.
And then you have agents like us who are scared to say the word best, right?
Right.
That's we're not all the same. I saw somebody post, I want to say it was in Justin's group, that his brother was being told to do something shady, and then he ended up inboxing me, and it was USAA who was teaching him how to do a shady practice, and I was shocked. Because I was a USAA customer for 13 years with my home and auto, but the agent was like, I know it's not a legitimate practice. I know it's shady. I know it's probably going to get him, fired from the carriers, if not, a DOI complaint, right? And I just say, if your gut tells you that it's not right, then don't do it, because it's your license. It's your carrier appointment. I don't care if you work for Glenn's call center, Christian's call center, our call center. It's your license, not the call center's license, that gets hammered when they say, we received an allegation that this person said this, and this, and did this, and this. The top line doesn't get in trouble. It's the agent who holds the appointment that gets in trouble. So protect your license. Yeah. And there's plenty of opportunity out there. There's more than one agency or call center. If one's not doing it right and you have anxiety going home at night, find 20 other people to interview. People are desperate for agents nowadays. We had a hard time finding agents for AEP in our South Florida call center because we don't just take anybody, first of all. But we wanted, people who were seasoned and who were ethical, right? It's a shame, though. So, Christian, what do you think we should do for 2022 so we don't have the same growing pains as we saw in 2021?
Yeah, I think more grassroots marketing is going to be the friend of the individual agent. I think that's going to be very important. I think when you're doing things like direct mail, when you're doing things like Facebook advertising, those kind of things, it should be branded for you. You really should be concentrated on your brand as an agent. I think networking networking events are going to be really important. I think running events are going to be really important. Right. I think seminars are at the stock on seminars is really high right now. And there's a lot of people that are doing incredibly well with seminars. Am I choppy, guys? Is my connection?
No, you're crystal clear.
Okay.
I can't see anybody. It just says Facebook on my side.
No, he was asking if his connection was having issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with that.
Essentially, like I think those things are going to be valuable for us internally. I think we're going to be, we've always done a large diversification of marketing, right? We buy some leads, we buy some generic leads, we buy some kind of leads here, there, but we also do our own internal marketing. We do our own branded direct mail. We do our own branded Facebook advertising. We're going to probably be taking our foot off the gas in terms of buying leads. We'll probably still buy some as fillers, but I think, really the battle cry for us next year and internally for our own internal production and our own internal clientele is we want people to call us. We want people to reach out to us. I want to essentially almost, if I can help it, completely remove the need for us to make outbound calls to people.
So Christian, you have a YouTube channel? Yes?
He does.
Okay, maybe he can't hear me.
Yeah.
Hang on, guys.
I will answer on his behalf. Christian.
Okay, so one thing I know about Christian is I know he has a business Facebook. I know he has a website and a YouTube channel. And I know he has a professional email, Christian at something. Most agents I've seen in the Facebook groups who are 1, 2-man shows, 3-man shows, they're still using their name at gmail.com.
Oh, God.
And they have no presence online, and their Facebook is locked up tighter than Rikers Island, right? And so if you're trying to create a branding, the first thing you got to do is create a presence, right? And so if you have no presence, then you don't look legitimate, right? The first thing I did when I opened up my second business is I went and did the LLC. I got the domain name and I did the email. That's the first thing I did when I opened up my Canadian Bacon. And it was the first thing I did when I opened up 2 new businesses last month. Is I got the domain name, I got the LLC, so they could see we're legitimate, right? And we did the branding and everything. Because if you look like a shady person from Pakistan, I mean, they're not going to do business with you. You have to have content on your Facebook page, a business Facebook page, a legitimate email. You don't want to use Joanna Wyckoff at gmail.com or Yahoo or Hotmail, right?
So there's an agent, I'm not going to name them, but they spent thousands of dollars on custom suits. And they don't have a website. They, what else? Their email was at Gmail, just like you just said. I don't think there's like any branding or like there for whatever reason. We kind of talked about this a second ago, like the employee mindset. I'm going to lease an office before I have any clients or any employees. For whatever reason, this agent decided I'm dropping a ton of money on custom tailored suits.
Was he doing seminars?
Maybe. I honestly don't know, but to hear, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like a simple website and simple social media, like, it costs almost nothing.
For the website, Eric Fierro's Go High Level has a website attached to it. He's going to show me, so you don't even have to recreate the wheel. It's already set. And
is that a generic domain, or is it like you buy your own domain?
I'll ask him when I have a talk with him afterwards. I think you use your own domain. I mean, your own domain's like $12 a year from GoDaddy,
Yeah, it's nothing.
My email is like $6 a month from GoDaddy.
Yeah, it's so, like, getting a custom email set up is super, super simple. So, like, that's never even an issue. There is a question here. It says, Glenn, could I ask, how do you cope with the DNC from the Philippines? So, we talked about how there's been a record number of phone calls that have happened this year, you guys. Your bottle mixes into your green screen. You're drinking your back around. I love it. So there's all of these different companies. There's a bunch of foreign companies, foreign call centers. There's call centers all over the world. I mean, you name it. You can find a place that has call centers. in South America, Pakistan, the Philippines, Egypt. You can find these call centers anywhere. So this is kind of what I tell everyone is if the call center doesn't have a legal U.S. presence, then they don't have to adhere to any U.S. laws. At Lead Heroes, we are a legal U.S. company. The company is based here in Oregon. You can look us up. Like, we're an active business. And so we have to adhere to all TCPA laws, all DNC laws. So that's one thing. Like, when I had someone last week, they were telling me, like, yeah, I'm talking to this call center in Pakistan. I think I can get leads for like $7 per lead. They told me they were all TCPA compliant. I'm like at the price point and the fact that they're not based in the U.S., they really don't have to adhere to any U.S. laws. You're really on the hook there. So, but yeah, it really comes down to data aggregation for us at Lead Heroes. We're pulling records from all sorts of different sources, opt-in sources, to allow us to maximize the number of phone calls. But sorry for hijacking the conversation there, you guys. Just wanted to answer that question. Yeah.
No, I was actually fascinated by that. I was like, because I didn't know that.
Yeah. Everyone thinks because we utilize virtual assistants that are out of the country, they're like, oh, he gets to break every law he wants, that lucky dog. And I'm like, I wish that was true. I wish I could just do whatever I want. But
dirty, filthy Glenn Shelton.
Yeah. We just call insurance agents about Medicare. That's what we do.
Sorry guys, my connection was just coming in and out when you were talking about the websites and all that stuff. One thing I'd like to add to what you guys were saying, if I may, is I think that something that I've always told people is, and I think both of you already touched on it, but I'll just kind of reiterate it. I think you need to learn to walk before you can run, right? You need to be able to learn to crawl before you can walk, et cetera, et cetera. So there's two camps here, right? There's brand new agents, and you should just get out there and make some sales, right? Get some money coming in, get some experience under your belt. And then there's the agent that has a couple hundred clients, right? And they're trying to make that jump into 500 clients, 1,000 clients, 2,000 clients. They're trying to really expand their horizons. I think that's the person that needs to really listen to what you guys were just talking about with the website, right? Mm-hmm. And what we're saying here is like, you need to get your branding in order. But I think some people will watch this and they'll think, well, the branding has to be in order, and they'll get all that in order before they even concentrate on making any sales. So I think it's important to differentiate that. I've always told people with branding, this is a simple way to do it. If you were to go Google yourself right now, what would you find?
Country music singer Glenn Shelton.
That is true. That popped up on my year ago today thing. I posted that on Facebook a year ago.
I saw that. I know.
But like Lead Heroes is a great example. You Google Medicare leads, Lead Heroes is like right there. The SEO is intact. Not that you necessarily have to, spend a bunch of money on SEO or whatever the case might be. But if someone goes and Googles,
can you see that? Our interviews come up on Google. It says Taco Tuesday, Joanna Wyckoff returns August 25th. Prospect Boss, Joanna Wyckoff, Medicare Mentors. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wait, what did I say at the start of this, Joanna? I said famous insurance influencer. 3 words.
Yeah.
Google just proved me right.
But I think there's nothing that your clients like to see more than if they can Google you or your agency, and they can see a lot of credibility, right? They see a Google My Business page with good reviews, with 5-star reviews. They see a website. They see a Facebook page. They see an Instagram page, a LinkedIn page with your accomplishments. Like, those things cost very little to nothing to set up. And that right there can make a big difference in what you're doing. And if you're making YouTube videos, make sure the YouTube videos are on your website, because that helps your SEO as well.
Yes.
It's your own branded content. And that's helped our website out quite a bit.
So I know we're getting close to the hour mark here, and I want to respect both of your guys' time. But I do have a question I want to ask both of you. So we're coming into the end of the year. There's a lot of agents who just wrapped up AEP who are probably not going to do anything, or maybe they're trying to figure out their next move. what I don't understand, and maybe we could get some clarity here. If you're a final expense agent or you're a Medicare agent, and you have this big book of business, you have all these clients, maybe this is your third, fourth, fifth year. Why is it that most agents, I would have to assume the majority of agents, like 70% or more of agents, completely neglect their book of business when it comes to referrals, when it comes to cross-marketing policies, supplemental policies? Because, when I hear Christian saying like, hey, we're going to try to focus on more grassroots next year, we're going to try to buy less leads next year, my first thought is you should be targeting your book of business. And I know from previous conversations I've had, it seems like so few are going after their current clients. What is that? Why is that happening?
Laziness, fear. So I think that Andrew, who's in the delivery room right now, expecting the birth of his son any second, he said it a lot on our cross training, where agents think that they will lose the Medicare Advantage deal if they pitch hospital indemnity or cancer. And it's a fear. So they just don't. They just get the business and keep moving on. So they're afraid of asking Mr. Jones, Miss Jones about their 401ks and their life insurance and stuff, because they just have their Medicare supplement. They don't know how to do the rest. And they just, they want to stay with one product, right? And there's nothing wrong with being a master of one and then expanding later, right? But most people who are retiring from a job, and we're seeing people retiring late now, a lot of them are retiring at 66. They need to roll over that life insurance from the job to a civilian policy, and they don't know how to do it, right? And you not saying, hey, I do that too, or somebody in my office can do that for you, because it doesn't have to be you. It could be one of your referral partners who's the master of underwriting life insurance or annuities. You're not just leaving money on the table, but you're neglecting a need in their house. So when that 66-year-old retired 2 months ago and lost their work insurance and they get hit in a car accident, now it's like you feel the guilt for not asking them, hey, Glenn, I know you're retiring from Lockheed Martin. We're just taking care of your Medicare today. Have life insurance there too? Did you have a retirement plan there too? Did you have dental and vision there too? Because in their mind, they're just checking off what they got to move. Like when I was getting out of the military, we had to check off everything we had to transition, right? It's a transition, and you're not really selling them something they don't need. You're not asking them to buy a Lamborghini and they don't know how to drive stick. You're asking them to transfer something from their corporate job to the civilian world. And that's actually my script, is I'm just checking a box. All right, Christian, you're retiring from, the pharmaceutical world and going to the civilian world. Today we're taking care of your Medicare. By the way, did you have dental there? Okay, we can take care of that today too. Did you have life insurance there? Okay, I'm going to have to do a little bit of research, but I can take care of that too. Did you have a retirement plan there? Great. I have a partner that does all of my retirement planning. And I'm going to give you his name and number, and you guys can chat about what that means to move it over and everything. And to them, it's just check, check, check. Thank you so much. That was a relief off my shoulders. I was wondering how I was going to get all that done. I didn't know you did all of that. I thought you just did my Medicare, right? So a lot of people don't stay in front of their current clients. I'm here writing Christmas cards, and I should have, and bad Jojo, I should have hired someone to do my Christmas cards, but I've had a hard time finding people to work. I need to hire like 3 admins, and I trust no one. I'm so, and I was talking to Glenn. I'm not going to blow up your spot, Glenn, but yeah. I was like, I really need like a virtual assistant that I can trust, that's already been trained to do what we do, like tomorrow, 100%. And Glenn's working on a project. I'll let you tell about your own project.
Sure.
But I think seasoned agents who are at that busting point, I've seen a lot of posts on the groups about, hey, I wasted so much time, not wasted, I spent so much time on my current clients. How do I get new clients if my 1,000 clients are eating up all my time in AEP? And it's going to come from using talent like virtual assistants and part-time admin, and even maybe interns, but definitely hiring people, because your time is best spent selling, not typing in metformin, and using technology and all the automation that is come into place. And I'm probably the less techie out of anybody, but if I'm trying to learn automation, then everybody should, because it's 2022 now, there's no reason you're manually texting, 300, 400, 500 people. You can click one button and done for you CRM, and it does it all for you for that, and virtual assistants. Why spend your $300 an hour, calling Miss Jones and seeing if she got her Humana card, when you can have it and a virtual assistant do that,
Standing ovation for that last part, you guys.
So yes. a lot of 2022 for me, and what we're doing is working smarter, more efficiently. I actually asked we have an employee that does all of our Facebook lead generation and everything. And I even asked him, I said, hey, Zach, you are worth way more than tracking agents' applications. Can you give me a list of tasks I could outsource?
I'm just gonna keep clapping until I hear something that I'm not super excited about. Okay?
But outsourcing it, or doing the dumb work at 10 o'clock at night. Like, I don't write Christmas cards between 8 and 8 o'clock during the day. I'm writing these at 11 o'clock at night while I'm watching TV and decompressing. Right? I'm not doing my business card logo at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's income activity driven, right? And so I think one of the things with new agents, you guys got to get out and sell as soon as you get your AHIP done and your carrier certifications done. You need to make a sale in the first 2 weeks. Agents who wait all summer to make a first sale on October 15th, that's where the struggle bus comes in at, And it's a struggle for you, the upline too, who's trying to teach you what QMB is on October 15th as well, And then for seasoned agents, keep going and not getting burnt out. Burnt out was how I was feeling this AEP, because I have my own personal clients and a lot of agents I support, and those are my pride and joys, and trying to be all things to all people. And I'm like, I really need employees to run my Georgia Senior Solutions business, So
that part, and I'd actually asked Christian publicly on a Facebook post. I said, Christian, what do you think your hourly, when you are selling, what's your average hourly revenue that you're generating? And he said 300, which is the same number you just said, which I think experienced agents, it really should be at least 300.
Mm-hmm. At least a 150.
At least, yeah. I mean, I think a brand new agent, like in my head, a brand new agent could probably stumble in and they're making $100 an hour in gross revenue. They could have expenses, lead costs. Like, doesn't mean they're taking home $100 an hour. But I think anywhere from $100 to $300 an hour, and maybe if you're really experienced, maybe it's even higher than that. But focusing on eliminating those low revenue generating activities. I used to spend 12 to 15 hours a week managing spreadsheets, making phone calls, setting appointments, super low revenue or zero revenue generating activities, and just clearing your plate of that and taking those hours and slotting it into your revenue generating activity changes everything, you guys. At Lead Heroes, the whole concept of the company is you're not taking your time to prospect anymore. You're paying us to prospect for you.
Exactly.
And the same thing is going to be applicable as we're moving into next year. And this is exactly what I want to talk about at the summit. Get your tickets now, Six Figure Agent Summit. Joanna, you're going to be there, right?
I thought that's why everybody was coming.
She's going to be speaking.
Oh, Christian. No one cares. All about Joanna. But this is literally what I'm going to be talking about, you guys. It's going to be about your time, your 40 to 50 to 60, whatever time you're spending per week, how you spend that time, what activities you should be focused on, and what needs to be outsourced or off your plate in order to be successful. So that's I can talk all day about that. But before I get too off topic, Christian, I want to deflect that last question back to you about current book of business. And I do think what Joanna said made perfect sense. There's a lot of fear about losing, and it goes against the data. The data says your clients are happier and they're going to stick around if you have more than one policy on the books with them. But the mindset of the agent is the opposite of what the data says. The mindset of the agent says, if I sell a second policy, the first policy is going out the window. So what is that?
Yeah, I think it's hard to top all that from Joanna, because she hit that right on the head. I think it's a fear complex. It's a scarcity mindset to where, I have this already, I don't want to lose it. And so that's kind of with the cross sell, why so many agents have a difficult time going back and making that cross sell. I think in terms of like client retention, not only client retention, but also, making it to where you're not driving yourself nuts, dealing with clients is, Joanna also hit it right on the head. You gotta outsource things. Like an example, it might not even necessarily be hiring somebody. Yes, you want to hire people, but like certain tasks you might not even need to. Like an example would be like for your Christmas letters, Joanna. If I were you, I would partner up with a local mail house and have them do that for me. Or I'd work with a Thanks.io kind of like organization that's completely automated. You pay $50 a month, you pay a set amount per card, and you have them send it out. And it looks like it's handwritten cards, it's very high quality. So like outsourcing is going to be huge. You need to just remove tasks from your plate, because you need to focus on what brings the most value to your organization. And that's bringing in revenue. It's driving revenue. It's making things happen. And so I think that's a big part of it. What we do in terms of our retention with our clients is we send them a letter at the beginning of September, letting them know that AEP is approaching. We send a different letter to Medicare Advantage clients than we do to Medicare Supplement clients. In the last 2 years, I've posted them in the groups, so a lot of you guys have probably seen them. We send an automated email out. We prepare automated emails to go out to our Medicare Advantage clients on October 1. And it will essentially, if we have a lot of clients with one, let's say Medicare Advantage plan, let's say we have 100 clients with one plan. Well, we'll attach the ANOC for that plan in a PDF, and we'll basically touch on what we feel like is the biggest changes on that plan, and that will hit their email on the 1st of October. We send another automated email to our Medicare Supplement clients. So we're constantly hammering them with letters, emails, and then someone from my office will call all the Medicare Advantage clients the first couple of weeks of October and go over changes. So like, that's what we do to keep our clients. It's expensive, it's time consuming, but it works. But you can't do that all by yourself. It's impossible. You're one person. It doesn't matter how hard you work or how much you hustle or grind. It doesn't matter. No one, you have to find ways to essentially duplicate yourself and remove tasks from your plate. But yeah, that's a little bit about what we do.
So Glenn, Christian, is that a shift in going from being self-employed to a business owner?
So
yes,
here's the key breakdown. And I've talked to Christian specifically about this. And I think the mindset is when you're spending money on an employee or an assistant, you have to look at it as an ROI and not an expense. And most people look at it as, I'm spending money. Why would I spend my hard-earned money on someone coming into the business? It's just a waste of my money. Shout out to Brian Tobias. He just commented on a post within the last 24 hours, I think. And he said he waited till he had 500 clients before he hired his first admin. And he said, hindsight being 2020, he knows he waited too long. And my first thought, I didn't even get to the second sentence yet. But when I read that first sentence, I was like, oh my gosh, 500 clients and not a single assistant to help you is insane. And he understands that now. And I mean, I think as soon as you're cash flow positive, investing in someone to eliminate those low revenue generating activities is just crucial. And you have to realize it's an ROI. If your time's worth $100 an hour and you're spending $1,500 or 15 hours on something that generates no money, and you can pay someone very little to do those, and now you can turn around and generate $1,500 a week. Now you're making $6,000 more per month. You're paying your assistant $2,000 or $3,000 a month. You're netting $3,000 more per month. It's that simple. So you have to look again. It's employee versus business owner, ROI versus expense. It's a total mindset paradigm shift that you guys have to understand. You know, here's the three things. And this is like summit preview, Christian. I'm giving everyone, this is like Taco Tuesday, 6 months early summit preview. 3 things you guys need to do. First one is eliminate. Before you delegate, before you automate, you need to eliminate the bullshit activities that you're doing during your week. There's going to be stuff you're doing that you shouldn't be doing. You know, like Joanna said, maybe you're spending a bunch of time like doing graphic design. You're like, I'm gonna do graphic design for 20 hours this week for a flyer or for a business card or for social media. Like, no, eliminate that. You know, if you really need it done and you can't find like a stock image or something that could fill it, then you delegate that. But first, you get rid of those activities that you shouldn't be doing. Then you automate the ones that you can. So that way there's no money and no time being spent. The text messages that Joanna just talked about, you know how many software solutions there are that can send text messages for you on automatic triggers where literally it looks like you're texting someone and you're sending out personal notifications. I got a text the other day, you guys. I really want to pull it up. So my birthday was about a month and a half ago, okay? And I'm subscribed to Russell Brunson, the ClickFunnels founder, okay, co-founder. And I get these texts all the time from him. I usually just ignore them. I get a video from him on my birthday. It is a personalized birthday video that got texted to me. Do you think Russell Brunson took time to film a birthday video for me personally? No. Are you kidding me? That same birthday video goes to everyone. But I literally took a second, watched the whole video, and thought, whoa, this is cool. Russell Brunson.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
Like, you didn't say, hey, Glenn?
If it was in the text, right? So it was probably one of those, like, you can plug in the name, but in the video,
tag or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's saying happy birthday with a cupcake. You know, like I'm gonna find it. But so, you know, automate what you can and then delegate what you can't eliminate and what you can't automate. Calling Mrs. Jones to see if she got her Humana card. You can't automate that. I mean, you could maybe send an automated email and ask, but, you know, have your assistant make that phone call and really free up your time and then generate money. Just like Christian was saying, focus on your high revenue generating activities.
So Glenn, you were calling me. I actually caught myself creating flyers at midnight last week.
Oh no.
Like I had events all weekend and I still have events going up until Friday when I leave. And I was sitting here doing flyers and I'm like, why am I doing this? I could just come on Fiverr and pay someone $10, $15 instead of losing sleep, you know? But sometimes we need to be reminded of, you know, services like that. Fiverr.com with 2 R's at the end. They're amazing. You can outsource a lot over there for like very cheap. I mean, they did my logo. I think they've done a couple of our logos and flyers and artwork and stuff, you know. So yeah, we definitely need to.
I want this really fast. I want to play this for you guys.
I just heard it's your birthday. Something special for you right now. I got you something. It's a cupcake. Happy birthday. So there you go. We can join us together. Now, this is if you are not on a diet. If you are on a diet, I've also got protein donuts. So we can do a double celebration. But anyway, I want to wish you happy birthday and a special day. I'm here celebrating with you. And with that said, hope you have a great day. Hey, this is Russell.
That's so good.
Like,
It's
I might
good.
have to copy that.
right? Like, it's silly. I knew it was just automation because I'm a marketer, but it still was like special, right? And like, that's so simple. Like, he didn't even think about it. He didn't even know it's my birthday, you guys. And it's that personalized touch. That's what Christian wants next year, right? He wants that personalized touch, that local touch. That's what's going to win next year, guys.
Yeah.
So one quick thing before we go. One of my friends wanted to text a lady that he had a crush on and ask her out to dinner. And I said,
Automate it. No, I'm just kidding.
I said, instead of sliding in her DMs and just a quick text, right? I said, make a video with your proposal. So, hey, Christian, it's Joanna. I was thinking, if you were free next week, maybe we could get together and I could take you out to dinner or drinks, whatever you prefer, whatever your comfort level is. And people are, it's more personable, right? And it puts that personal touch on it. So if you can't get a hold of your leads, make a video, send it to them. Make sure that, they see that it's not stranger danger. You're just a simple guy, simple girl trying to get a hold of them. Hey, Glenn, it's Joanna. I got this, postcard back in the mail requesting information from Medicare. I'm the local Medicare specialist here in Atlanta. If you need help trying to figure out what you need or anything that you have going on, just send me a text back and we can schedule a one-on-one, And people open up videos. They do. We're content hungry. People open up their text messages way more than they open up their voicemails. So imagine the open rate of a video. So that's my tip for the day.
I like it. That's
really
good.
fast. I do want to mention your text that you publicly posted about like the last day of AAP. I thought that was fantastic too. You're like, hey, this is someone I've been playing phone tag with. You're like, text me all the info or don't even talk to me. I thought that was great too.
And she did. And she was the power of attorney for her dad, who's in a personal care home. And she was very grateful. She texted me all the information. I was able to type it in while I was on the phones with somebody else and everything. And, we got her squared away. But I don't have time to sit here and go through you reading your metformin and metoprolol and, all those 20 million medications. And, let me go find his doctor's list. No, we get it all together.
You've taken a water pill?
Yeah. And it's just, people just, if you tell somebody the parameters that you work, most people will work in your parameters.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn, would love to help you. Here's what I need. Send it by email or text message, and I'd be happy to help you first thing in the morning. Well, I don't want to. Unfortunately, that's how I perform this service.
Mm-hmm.
If you need a local agent, I can make a recommendation. Maybe Travis lives near you or something. I'm not coming to your house. Not on the last minute of the last day. Nope. Didn't deal with it. So, and then some people, they played phone tag too long. I just forwarded them to the call center. I couldn't get a hold of them. And that's, sometimes you have to understand when you're at your limit. I was already at my limit, and I just plugged in Andrew's call center phone number, said, hey, if you need help still, because we had a bunch of agents over there who could simply help, So, and they called me back. Hey, I talked to, Joni or Andre. I was like, great agent. I'm glad they got you squared away,
Yep.
So make friends that have bigger resources than you. You don't have to be everybody,
I love it. I love it. Guys, I want to be respectful of everyone's time.
Yeah,
will you just respect me for once, Christian?
Will you just tell me off? Speaking of automations, I literally just got an email for a meeting that Glenn and I have tomorrow. A reminder. I just got a reminder email from Lead Heroes.
Guess who sent that? Nobody.
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 I was under the impression that Glenn literally put a
email.
cardboard cutout of himself. While we're on, he's sending this to me right now.
Kristen, tomorrow we are meeting each other.
Hey, reminder. This was a killer episode, you guys.
This was awesome.
You're welcome.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was. And Joanna is always fantastic when she comes on. So, Joanna, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for making the summit an event that's just gonna.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I might bring my tiara, but I think everybody's coming to see me. I think
Joanna's 6-figure Medicare Agent Summit. Let's slap the name on top. Let's just call it what it is.
When Christian told me he was doing it, I was like, better you than me, because I have no desire ever to host that type of event. A lot of work that goes into it. You know, people don't understand the work that goes into it.
Well,
so much work.
I'll show up.
Tony's doing the MCing, you know, so I don't have to worry about that.
There you go. He's a good MC.
Yeah, I don't want to do that shit.
Outsource, babe. Look at you delegating.
Outsource.
Look at you delegating, Mike.
I made sure that I got the first slot of the day, because I can't go after anybody else. You know, I don't want to have to go after Justin, Brock, or Galen. Right?
Oh, God. I need to know where my.
At first, you were a little hesitant though, and I was like, "Think about it. It's better. It's better to go first."
Yeah.
That, and I can go drink my coffee and everything. Yep.
Can I go after Joanna then? Where am I on the list?
We haven't got that far yet. The only thing I know is Joanna's going first.
Okay,
That's
good.
all I know.
Well, I'll go first the second day then. We'll both go first.
There you go.
There you go. That works.
Boom.
There you go. Well, I'm excited. Can't wait to see everybody in Salt Lake City. I haven't been out to Salt Lake City since I left the Air Force in 2007. I was stationed in Idaho, and I used to have to go to the doctors in Salt Lake City. So I haven't been there in, gosh, how long is that? 15, 16 years? Thankfully, you decided to do it when it's warm enough for me to wear my flip-flops, because I told you I wasn't going to wear boots.
I know better.
So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a great year. I think a lot of people need to focus on and you don't have to tell Christian or Glenn what your weaknesses are, but make a list of what weaknesses you have, and then ask the people that you contract with on, filling in those weaknesses. And maybe they have training already done, and I bet you they do. You just have to tap into it. I see a lot of agents asking questions, and they didn't go to their uplines training, because I know they're upline. So make sure you go to your uplines training. Make sure you tap into the resources you have. If you're, IMO has Connecture and Go High Level and all the technology, just use it,
100%.
2 cents.
I love it.
Christian, what if someone wanted more info on the summit, or if they wanted to spend their hard-earned monies on a ticket, where can they learn more about the summit?
So you'll want to go to, I want to get the domain right. Hang on, guys.
What's cool is I forgot what days it was, and I just searched Google 6-figure agent summit.
You'll find it on there. You'll definitely find it there. So if you go to 6figuremedicareagent.com,
boom.
Okay.
You'll be able to find information about it. It is June 10th and 11th next year, here in Salt Lake City at the Radisson Hotel. And as those rooms become less and less available, guys, the prices are starting to go up even after our discount. So our discount gives you 20% off the rooms. So if you haven't booked your rooms, be sure to book your rooms. We're starting to see the prices go up as it gets closer on the rooms. But yeah, guys, head over to 6figuremedicareagent.com. and you'll be able to find it, or you can just Google 6-Figure Medicare Agent Summit, and you can find it on there also. And you'll find the page, you'll find the landing page.
We will all be there.
I need to call and book my room at the Radisson and make sure they have my penthouse suite still available.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, man, I hope my 2-bedroom suite's available. I really need space. I can't talk I can't do a
Well,
public speaking without space.
How
Well,
horrible would it be if we're
I-
out down the street?
Well, I know what's going to happen. Like 40 people are going to want to come stay at my house. It's not happening, guys. Just a heads up.
Crashing at Christian's.
Yeah.
Sleep over.
You're like, hey, I forgot to book my room, Christian. You got any room?
I'll be
Christian, can Violet sleep in your room and I'll sleep in Violet's room? Is that possible?
That crib sure looks comfortable.
I can scrunch. I can get real small and just fit in there.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you
it
for
was a
coming
great
on.
chat with my friends over at Six Figure Medicare Agent. This is streaming live in a couple groups right now, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 4 groups?
I tried to do 4. It only let me do 3 because I downgraded my membership. I was paying like $50 a month for the professional.
Okay.
And I downgraded it because I didn't want to pay that much, and now it only lets me do 3. So I had to cut one off.
Oh, okay. You could have used mine. I was just telling you I had StreamYard and I don't even use it.
I didn't know. I didn't know any better.
Okay.
I didn't know any better.
Right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It's a Tuesday afternoon,
Yes.
a busy Tuesday. I still have a list of people I have to go tidy up before I get on this ship.
Have a great time, and stay off your phone. Enjoy yourself, and
Yes, enjoy the time off. It's well earned.
I'm not answering anybody's questions for 8 days while I'm there.
I can't wait for that post that's like, Joanna's not responding to my calls. I have a contracting problem. Please, Joanna. Oh my gosh, she's the worst.
yeah.
Well, it can't be a contracting problem for Nation Care because we have a whole contracting department that thankfully doesn't involve me anymore. So
There you go.
I just saw someone spamming you about contracting. They're like, I haven't. It was like the last day of AEP, and someone was like, Joanna's not calling me back. I was like, what are you saying? It's the last day of AEP. Why would she be calling you? She's not gonna call you. She's got other stuff going on.
I mean, and a lot of people don't understand. Like, I still sell full time, part time, maybe. During AEP, I normally sell full time. This year, I didn't. This year, I sold sometime, and that was because I support hundreds of agents, and that
Right.
they're my heart, you know. So Nation Care agents had to come before Joanna sales, and that's just fair, you know. So first, I'm your mentor first. I'm a sales agent second, right? But yeah, so this was probably my last year selling full time in AAP, just because it's hard to be all things to all people. There's no way, and if anybody says that they do this, or they're lying. There's no way to answer 100 agents a day and make 10 plus sales a day. There's no way to do it.
No.
You're giving somebody the shitty end of the stick.
Yeah,
right?
Christian tries to do that more or less every single day. So I think he can tell you.
And I feel like killing myself at the end of every single day.
we both have been to the same path, and we have similar structures. And it's like by the end of the day, you don't want to talk to anybody because you've been around ragged for the last 18 hours, you know. But you know, my partners at Nation Care, they mean the world to me. The agents that partnered with us, so they get all of my attention. And then if I have time to sell afterwards, I do. So, yep. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I'm not going to be selling anything for 8 days. It's going to feel good. No Medicare anything. We're going to tell them to call Christian.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be on call.
There you go.
Well,
Yep.
enjoy your cruise, Joanna.
Yes.
And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a great episode. It could have gone for another hour. You know, it was that good.
Yes.
Well, and we'll certainly do it again soon. Joanna will be back, and
I'm going to start charging for appearances.
Oh,
Yeah,
shoot.
seriously.
We need to get the next one done before that starts.
We need to do that. We need to get it before, grandfather it in
No, we want to be grandfathered in on the free rate.
on the free deal, free package. I don't know when we'll do the next Taco Tuesday, guys, but it won't be too long. I don't think we will. Probably next week, right?
Right before, probably not next week, and you know, it might not be till start of next year. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great week, and Merry Christmas to all of you guys, and happy holidays and whatever you celebrate.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Don't call me.